Contrast uncut. Yeah, you know that's us. Where we only speak the real and the real rock with us. Where we motivate the people and politic on success. Oh no, we ain't DJ Khaled, but they swearing we the best. Contrast uncut. Contrast uncut. Contrast uncut. Contrast uncut.
What's happening? It's Contrast Uncut. It's season 4. This is my spotlight episode, PR edition. I want to give a big shout out to Uncle Snoop's Army and Bobby D Presents. I appreciate you, brothers. It's your host, Zylo, aka DJ Juan Dollars, like I won some money. Today, we having a really incredibly dope special guest. She's from the city of angels, the land of the dream and the air of opportunity. You know, LA, Los Angeles, California. Like she said, West Side till she died. She is a world-renowned public relations strategist, entrepreneur, marketing guru, and a dedicated mother. She is the queen of public relations with an approach for the attention to detail and developing genuine relationships with her clients that elevates and propels their careers. She has represented some of the biggest clients in the game, past and present. You know, the likes of Rest in Peace Prince, Gary V, Kevin Hart, Jamie Foxx, Major League Baseball legend Dave Stewart, Los Angeles Charger wide receiver Keenan Allen, the TikTok Rangers, and a long, long list of new music artists that I probably may need another intro to name every client she represents. And if you don't know who I got on the show by now, it's all good. We got all episode to chop it up with the brilliant mind behind E Hill Entertainment, Erica Hill. Everybody, how you doing?
Hey, thank you for that intro. That was absolutely amazing.
Thank you. You know, I gotta let you know from the beginning, time's the most finite thing we have on this earth. I appreciate you for rocking with me, rocking with the viewers and the listeners. And thank you just for being transparent and coming on here.
No, my pleasure. Actually, I've been kind of, we've had a pretty good professional relationship for a while now. So I was actually honored that you asked me to be a guest on the show as opposed to my clients. So thank you.
The queen of PR? You kidding me? That is the abundance of success. You know, a lot of people don't know it takes a team to make something look as great as it does when you see it. It's not just it comes up out of nowhere. No, there's a whole bunch of work. Sometimes it's as powerful as this young lady to the interview, and she has all her motors going with all her different vehicles moving towards the same goal of, you know, reaching what they want to reach for their clients. And that is, you know, why I was like, I have to. And I'm grateful for you to be on here.
Thank you.
Erica, what's the normal 24 hours for you?
Ooh. Typically, I would say I would get up. I try and wake up between 6 and 6:30 ish. If sometimes that doesn't always happen. I may wake up at like 5, but I really do appreciate my morning time when it's just still and calm and nothing's going on, and it's just complete silence. I absolutely value that time. It sets my day, my tone, my energy. And so that's a given. And then after that, I typically get up, I get some coffee. I love my coffee. Like I do feel like I need it, but I also enjoy the experience of going to make it. And I kind of get into that, like, you know, and honestly, most of the time I dive into work. Like after I do that, just, you know, with COVID, I'm talking about, you know, COVID times and working from home most of the time and not doing so much moving around. What a lot of people don't know is that PR is like 90% like on the computer, working, emailing, strategizing, coming up with stuff, you know, research, outreach. It's just a lot of that sort of extreme detail work. If you're good, you know, if you're into it like that. So there's always a lot of moving pieces. And so I traditionally have like a board of like all my clients and everything that needs to be done and timelines and the little details, and I just kind of I live by a checklist of items. And then if all goes well, I will try and get in a workout with I love Orange Theory Fitness, and there's one like a 2-minute walk from my house. So that's kind of amazing. So I definitely try and get an Orange Theory, but with COVID again, it's booked a lot. So if I'm waitlisted, but anyway, at some point I do try and get in my Orange Theory, my workout. And that's been pretty much it. I haven't done a lot of getting out during COVID. I've actually enjoyed that aspect of forced to kind of be at home because I've been able to get a lot done without the distraction of like traffic and moving around, and things in LA especially can get kind of crazy because LA moves like it goes off all the time. So yeah, so that's my typical 24 hours. I'm usually in bed if I can be by like 11. I'm definitely a morning person, not a night person.
Gotcha.
Anything after 7 is like blurry, but I can still get it done. But in the morning, I'm very fresh and vibrant and like clear and focused. And that's where I get, I try to get the most of my work done during those times when I have a fresh head, a fresh mind.
The concise effectiveness of being in the morning and clear, that's important.
Yes.
I think a lot of with COVID versus pre-COVID, you would probably spend 4 hours driving a day and, to events, and then you'd be at events all the time because that's another part of your job that you're not saying is that because it's been taken away for a year now, is that you
Yes.
have to spend a lot of time at events. And then that's that 11 p.m. is now, oh, I'm a night owl and I'm a morning person. And then the bags under our eyes go from here to here.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Still moving,
Yeah.
running.
Still moving, managing. I manage a lot of like talent guest lists. You got to be at walkthroughs. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy, but I do love it. And that's how I knew, like, okay, I can do this.
It's crazy when the things that are hard for everybody else and it slows down, it's easy for you. It's like, oh, the light went off. That's a gift.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure there's a whole bunch of lights that went off during your career. I have a quote. Let me know how this quote relates to you. I feel like we just went into it without even going into it, but I'm going to hit you with it. Here we go. Skills are cheap. Passion is priceless. Gary V.
Yeah. I believe that quote for me, it speaks to, well, I'll personalize it. I'm a 50-50. I am 50% entrepreneur, 50% creative. Some people can't seem to, like, the entrepreneur sometimes can't figure out the creative, and they're just all super, savvy with the logistics, but there's no oomph to it, no, flavor, and then the creative sometimes doesn't know how to monetize, right? They're just like, I'm a creative, and their business is not in order. They have no way how to make money, how to put deals together, how to make sure that, things are turning from ideas into concrete business situations. And it is a gift because I am blessed with both. So I believe I have skills. I take the things I'm super passionate about and I become an expert. So that's where both fall into line.
I'm a firm believer that passion leads to purpose and purpose is supposed to lead to the bag, whether you're wise enough to know you need help or you get the bag on your own. But
yes,
however it goes, you just need to embrace those gifts that are inside of you.
Absolutely.
Like when I was a kid, it was an NFL player. I don't remember his name. I'm sorry, shout you out, but he was like, something about what life is that when I play football, it's slowed down. And I was like, slowed down. Guys around like 40s, they're moving at the fastest rate. But he said when in football, when it slowed down, he knew that's when I was going to be great. And because everybody else couldn't stop and figure out how to maneuver, how to see things 3-4 steps ahead, like in chess. And that is where people start to really make leaps and binds on what they thought they were going to do and what they're doing. And a lot of
Exactly.
people like to say, I'm trying, I'm trying. You got to realize if you're doing it, you're doing it. It's not trying.
True. Facts.
Erica, talking about the entertainment industry, did the game choose you or did you choose the game?
The game 100% chose me.
Mm.
100%. Because prior to actually getting into PR, I had no clue what it even was. I was like, okay. I went from being a stay-at-home mom for 8 years. I was the brownie troop leader, the room mom, the silent auction mom, the mom that was picking up the kids that didn't have that was my life. I would drop my kids off at school, probably be back at lunch. Hey, you guys need somebody to help serve the lunch? Like, I was that mom. And I would like go hiking, and I just during those important years for me, I wanted my children to have my undivided attention, and my ex-husband. And so then I was like, okay, I got over this phase and I was ready to dive in, and I went into real estate so I can control my own income and time, so I could still not be completely unavailable, because I don't want to do that to the household. Like, can ease into something, I can set up shop in my office, show up to the brick and mortar, but still balance everything. And then from there, that's a whole nother issue we'll get into, but I got into the race car business, and we hired a PR company, and they were old friends of mine, like childhood friends of mine, and they were great. They're still in business, love them to pieces. They do great work. And that's when I realized, I was like, wait a second, I could do this, or wow, I could have did this a little bit different and did this, da 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 da. And my brain just started going, but I didn't know that that was even a way. And then when I kind of stuck my little toe in there, and I was like, hold on, people. And then I saw so many raggedy experiences, and I was like, somebody actually paid them to do that. I was like, thinking cap. I was like, I can kill this and give them a much better product. And so I just started to kind of build from there. But the industry never interests me whatsoever, not even a teensy tiny bit. If in a perfect world for me, I was like, I'm gonna travel and like go on wild safaris and travel and sorry, I got a call. Travel and scuba dive and like throw swanky dinner parties. That was kind of my thing. And so I never looked at the entertainment industry and thought it was like a place I wanted to be in.
Wow. And as we talked about it earlier, 50% entrepreneur, 50% creativity. When did it kick off in your mind that, hey, I can really get the bag from this industry, from the void that you're feeling?
Immediately, because me and my former business partner, we would do like 3 free events, and we'd get like 7 paid events, from that. And so we never had to like have investors and things, because we would just kind of take the money and build and be like, oh, we'll take this and get our software. We'll take this and, kick off our website and things like that. So people, we came into the industry where people really wanted the top corporate PR firms, but the hands-on attention that we gave them, and we were able to deliver both. And so we kind of came in and was like, we just straight to the top.
You navigated all the way to where you need to be. And, that's a lot of what people have to understand, is that if you recognize something's wrong and no one else is seeing that it's wrong, that's that another light that goes off that say, hey, you're the problem solver. It's either you're going to be a part of the solution or you're going to be a part of the problem and keep it going. And that is a true testament to understanding what's easy for you and what's slowed down. I just want to know, how did you get to understand how much money was into the industry? Because if you're going from outside in, not understanding you're already doing the job, when did the Like, when did it go like, oh, this is how much they make for doing this?
Well, started doing research as well. But what I also learned is that I learned the true meaning of your network is your net worth, because by the grace of God, my network were these amazing people that I met completely unrelated to business. I just, like, either our kids went to school together, or our kids played soccer together, and I was always around this just amazing high net worth, group of people that loved me for me. I never wanted anything from them. It was just like, hey, play dates or whatever the case may be. So I was able to tap in immediately to that network because I was already a trusted figure for them. And it was like, oh, and you're doing this, oh, that's awesome. And, then you start building your track record and your rapport. And then I noticed very quickly that the clients that would pay you $15,000 a month, never, no complaints. You send them hey, this is what we did. This is, your end of the month report. And then you got the $500 client that's like, I don't understand what you're doing. What's going on here? And they're needy and they're calling you all hours of the day. So I have compassion though for people that don't have budgets, because I understand that like there's a need, but I decided to separate my business. I was like, look, I'm gonna do some favors over here, but I'm gonna keep them in perspective. But I also know that there's a level of business that, it could be seven figures over here, and I'm gonna treat them accordingly over here, but I'm gonna separate them because I have passion for it all, but I also know that I have to monetize and I have to build and create. You know what I mean? So I would be like, I'd rather do a favor over here than you be trying to pay me some money and I got to hear all that stuff from like negative. But, so I just kind of had to balance it. Like,
You really compartmentalize the necessary things you want to put your attention to. You prioritize what can provide for your family, because you are a dedicated mother. You did put in all the passion and work into your craft, but you also made sure to make sure the household was taken care of. And that is the true testimony of your gifts and talents. If anyone can understand what it takes to be a parent and still divulge 12, 16 hours into what you do daily, they need to all take their hats off. And I wish I had my hat on to take it off, to tell you, you're courageous is definitely needed, and it's inspiring.
thank you. I appreciate that.
All love. And then, the detailedness, that's something I feel like is something that really separated you from everybody else, because your attention to detail really recognize the genuineness of your relationship. Because if someone that does not care about their client, does not care about that person, fuck about a client, just genuine relationships, like, hey, you got something on your face. Like,
That is me on the red carpet. I'm fixing hair and bangs. I'm like, no, don't put your purse. Yeah, I'm like, that's just my organic thing to do.
but see, that's genuine. You're
Yeah,
not, and it's not that, hey, that, yes, they're representing you, but at the end of the day, it's, hey, this person's representing themselves, and they don't have eyes on the bottom of their chin and the back of their head. So how are they supposed to recognize stuff that they can't see? So, it takes someone to say, hey, let me slow down and let them know, let's fix this. Or,
yeah,
hey, this is going on, let me communicate. Hey, if you do this a little bit differently, if you don't say that, you'll go way further in the discussion where you want to go. And those key points
absolutely.
is beyond necessary, because we don't
Yes.
have it all. If you don't got all the ingredients to your meal, to your gumbo pot, you better make some phone calls and have someone turn the water on for you. And that's the importance of a relationship. And you've been able to really put the importance into it. And you can testify to relationships will get you places money cannot.
That is 100% the truth. And so that's why you don't, burn bridges, and you have to do right by people as well, because those are also the factors that are going to separate you, along the way in your journey. So I always say, if people focus on their inside and becoming, the best version of themselves as much as they do with having their haircuts and their outfits together and their Birkin bag. It's got to balance out. You have to be as thorough on the outside and the inside. It has to all,
Come
be
together.
equal out. Yes.
I definitely want to talk about your earlier days before you dug into being a PR. I want to talk about when you got into NASCAR and, what your role was and how did you embrace the opportunity?
Oh my God. That was such. I'm a fire sign, so, and I'm a risk taker. So not like, I'm not gonna like crazy like jump off a building, but I am, if I see an opportunity, I'm like, oh, this looks exciting. I'm gonna dive in. So because I went from real estate, I had a client that had a development project that we were working on, and he kept mumbling. He was a former NBA player, and he just would mumble. I'd hear him talking, and I would hear certain things about race car stuff, and I would be like, what are you talking about with this like race car stuff? He was like, well, been trying to get this race car business team off the ground, and I grew up actually wanting to be a race car driver, not a NBA player. He's 6'8", had a super successful career. He retired healthy, and this dude he grew up wanting to, a black man wanting to be a race car driver. So I was like, that sounds interesting. Let's put something together. I didn't know shit about the racing industry, but I dove in and we became owners of the team. And it was so much fun. And I really got, like, I tapped all the way into that world. Nobody even understood what I was doing. My friends would be like, so wait, because I'd call them, they'd call me and they couldn't hear me. I'm like, I'm on the track. I'm on top of the holler. I'm gonna call you when my driver needs to qualify. And it was just crazy. I just dove in, and I
Got it.
actually became the California Motorsports Institute program director, where I would go into the community and launch these like to read to race programs, math and motion, the science of speed. I partnered with the race track, and I would bring basically, so if we went to a school and we launched a program, and whatever classroom read the most books, then they would get a direct racing experience. So they would either be able to go to a race, or they could sit in the announcer's booth at the race. They could drive in the pit car when, there was an accident, they'd be able to get in the pit car. So it was crazy. And I absolutely loved doing that work. I loved it, but I don't know, it was wild. It just came up for me. I promise you, I didn't have a guide there. I was just doing what came up.
Wow. Directed by the spirit and look how far it went.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. And especially in a culture and sport where it's not too much color in there.
Oh, they were looking at me like, who's the black girl giving all these damn orders? But I had no, it was tunnel vision, so I didn't even really look at that. You know what I mean? I just went in there and was getting done what I needed to get done. And so it was interesting. But I loved it.
That is so powerful of a statement. When you have tunnel vision to what needs to be done, you can't allow the small bullshit, the little rocks being thrown at you to bother you. You just got to keep on
I
going.
didn't even know they were being thrown.
See?
That's
See?
how unbothered I was. I was like, oh, that's
No,
what happened.
well, it was really interesting to see. My father, he used to race cars and he was like a hot rod racer. He used to build the engines and recreated Corvettes and made the
Wow.
car fly up. They used to call him Tiger Tom because his name was Tom, and Tiger Tom because as soon as he raced off, he went for the whole quarter mile
He
on the
would do the drag race or
drag racing. Yeah.
the drag racing. Wow. That always looks so interesting. I never really got outside of stock car, but the guy that was our crew chief actually owned a driver development program. So what we could offer our sponsors too was like, because he owned the track and the program, So we would be able to put stuff together where they could come and have these like different racing experiences on the track. And he had a ton of cars, and he had a drag car as well.
It's so amazing how there's literally nothing you can't put your mind on and create and do. As long as you understand the tools, you're gonna build.
Yep.
And you've been able to continue to do that. Is that manifestation and prayer, with the hard work, or is that just you speaking onto something into existence, and you doing all the work into it? What is the underlining vision that gets you to your tunnel vision that you have to success?
Ooh, good question there. I am 100% into manifestation, to energy. I have vision boards. I wake up in the morning listening to like Oprah speak, Michelle Obama. Then I may hit some Eckhart Tolle. I may do some Steve Harvey motivational things. I may be listening to Kobe Bryant interviews while I'm in the shower. So I pull from a lot of different things. And then my mother, may she rest in peace, she was also extremely like supportive, and she would get so excited about everything that I could do, and she would be like, girl, you got this, and da 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 da. So she was extremely supportive as well. And so she always made me feel like there wasn't she not like I could tell her like, oh mom, I'm about to, can you watch the kids, I'm about to go to Africa really quick because the king is gonna, and she'd be like, I know that's right, girl. Like she never made anything seem like I would, like it was crazy, and I stopped sharing those moments with people that are limited thinkers, because you can be affected by that and not even realize. So I stopped talking about it to my friends. I couldn't understand that. So my mother was always like, girl, go on, bye, da, da, da. But I may tell another person, which I stopped very early on, and they may be like, girl, that's crazy. I was like, ooh, okay. I had to, not that I can't be around those people, but I definitely don't share my stuff with them, because I don't want those types of blocks and limits. Limited thinkers are like,
That is so true, because people indirectly hate on the dream, and they don't understand that it takes this stuff to go along. And I'm so grateful for your mother to normalize the sleepless dream you're living,
yeah.
because a lot of the time people put an approach onto something and put a box into it, and it's like, hey, I knocked down all the walls to the box. That's not my fault that you're not seeing that these box walls are down. And
They don't even exist. You create them. They're not there.
yes,
Seriously. I feel like I can, by the grace of God, I can walk into so many rooms and have a very comfortable seat at the table. Like, okay, so what are we doing? Because I don't have these like, you know, things and quirks. And, we were on recently there was like a conversation on Clubhouse about dark skinned women feeling inferior to light skinned women. And I was like, wow, that's really a thing. As brown as I am, I never walk into a room and feel like a light skinned woman is going to shine over me. I'm like, that's wild that people think that. Honestly, I don't have any of those limits or like things. It's like if I'm equipped and I know what I'm talking about, it's just me and the source.
the importance of what you're talking about is that I spent a large portion of my life where God was blessing me, putting me in places that only He could put His hands on me to put me there. And
Right.
I would go back and tell my friends, I tell everybody what's going on. They would never believe me, and it'd be like, I don't take
They
pictures.
wouldn't believe you.
Swear, bro. Like, my
Wow.
stepdad worked for this electric lighting company, and so he would take me to movie premieres and like concerts, and because he would set up the stages.
Oh.
And so, as you
You'd
can
be like,
imagine,
Will Smith just bought me dinner. And they'd be like, dude, shut up.
oh no, I ain't got no stories like that. But I do
Oh.
have this one. I wish I had a Will Smith story. Oh my Lord
Right.
Jesus, shit. My son would be in this movie playing him as a kid. But that's here nor there.
Right. Speak
But
it into existence.
I would have crazy stories where I'm talking to BB King and don't know who BB King is, and we're at the house of Gucci. My
Oh,
stepdad is breaking down the stage, and he's just chopping
right.
it. I was just a little kid that was curious and knew how to. I was talking since I was 10 months old, so saying sentences. So like
Wow.
my brain is just always going, and I would ask questions, and that kid right there is something else. And
Right.
I met Steven Spielberg, I met Tom Hanks. I was at the Academy Awards, not really processing
Wow.
where I was at, and just always that same approach. And I go back and tell them, they'd be like, no, no, no. And then eventually I had a friend that was around for a little bit. His godfather was LL Cool J, and no one believed him until him and I went to the damn Fubu warehouse and got a whole bunch
Wow.
of clothes. And to this day, people won't believe that story. And I wish I could fit those clothes. So I could be like, yep.
That is hilarious, but I believe it.
And
I believe
but
it.
what that did was it created a whole false sense of reality, because people are putting that pressure on, hey, I don't believe it's real and I don't have nothing to show you. And then now
Right.
they want to chatter about it and negativity. And it's like, man, well, do I not go out and do what I want to do, or do I not go do?
No, you do it. You just keep it to yourself.
See, yes. And I could keep on going about myself. I had a moment where this whole show became about, and I did music since 2006. I was managing groups, and I even managed Stevie J's son. I had a nice, like, working long relationship going. And I went into managing a restaurant, and I got comfortable with the restaurant. Wasn't getting paid well, but I was doing so much for the community that it was comfortable. And that's not my life. And I got so uncomfortable at that job where it got crazy. I was bringing a gun to work, making sure, like, I got into kick some people out of the job. They were,
Wow.
gangbangers, and they got drunk and popped it off. And I'm, I'm not with that nonsense. So you're gonna get up out of here. And that created a whole problem at the job. And so I'm going to work every day with a gun. So ain't nothing happened to me. I'm getting home to my kids and my wife. And so that had that presence on me. And so I eventually quit that job, and I was gonna do real estate. And then
Wow.
I met with a guy that said, "Hey, don't you got to get out of music. You cannot do real estate and do music at the same time." And he
Like,
told me that
shut up.
it
I
was
hate
very
when people say stuff. It's like, no, you can't do.
yeah.
Speak for yourself, right?
So as I'm literally like telling my brother, telling some of my mentors, like, "Hey, I'm gonna step away from this," and God said, "Hey, what are you thinking?" He sent me to the BET Awards. I kid you not. I was a seat filler. I saw my friend, and next thing I know, I'm on the 6th row in front of the stage. And his friends were performing on stage. Now I'm at the after party, and then I get invited to another award show, which was the Trumpet Awards. And God had me at another after party, and like I'm literally getting drunk and eating and partying with everyone I would dream of. And I go to another award show, NAACP awards, and the same thing happens to me. God had his hand on me. And I was like, dang, I don't think I'm supposed to do real estate. And then this show came about, and I got signed to Uncle Snoop's Army because of Bobby D. And it was actually that same day I met you for Slim 400. I interviewed Bobby D
Wow.
that day, and
Yeah.
he signed me that night, and he sent me to go do media on Valentine's Day 2 days later to
Wow.
Springs, and I got to interview 112, Keith Sweat, and Next. And
Oh
yeah,
wow. My boy manages next.
no,
Wow.
so
That's awesome.
it's crazy how how one, and then I had to rearrange all my friends and family. Like, hey, if you're not a part of this success and me trying to move forward, I love you. I will help you along my career, but I got to help myself before I help someone else, because I have to take care of my
Absolutely.
family.
Yep. Absolutely.
And as I just divulge my, like, a maybe 5% of a lifetime, I feel it's always somebody that invests into or puts an idea or puts someone in a position to reach their dreams. Who do we owe to thank you for investing into your dreams?
Um, I would say my mom for sure. I would say yeah. She was definitely, I mean, there was people along the way. Like I really had some amazing business mentors. I had people that were able to like coach me and share, amazing keys and jewels along the way. But I also sought that, some people aren't open to that. They're very much so like would rather just bump their head and do this and that. And I'm just, nah, I'm not trying to do any of that. I mean, I get that some of that is a part of life, but I was blessed enough to have some amazing business mentors that and I soaked in so much information, from them. And they would say, hey, from showing up and doing and wearing this, and when you're speaking to that, I mean, just a bunch of stuff. So yeah, I've had
details. So you got to
yeah,
hear about details from the
the
beginning.
psychology of things. Well, when you walk in and you're doing this, people automatic like those types of understandings.
See, my older brother sent me this video. It's $1 million worth of game. I don't know if you've seen the podcast. Shout out well, I'm Gilly the King and
No, I haven't seen it.
Wallow. They got an amazing show. And on their first episode, they had charted, top 10. And from that episode, they had filmed this video. He was like, man, I hit up Gilly. I was like, put on all your gold jewelry. We about to go get this bag and go get some sponsorships. And he was like, put on all my jewelry. Yeah, bro, you gotta look like money. And so that we get the money. And when he said that, like my brother sent me the video, I was like, oh yeah. When it comes to opportunities, I need to make sure I wear all my jewelry.
But you gotta know how to show up in your space that,
it represents, it makes everything
yeah,
make sense.
exactly.
Because the moment you don't make sense is the moment that them senses pulled from what you're trying to do.
100%.
What has been some of your most rewarding moments in the game so far?
I would say a standout moment for me would be when I was asked to do the second time I was asked to do PR for Prince. And I didn't realize that he was on the email chain that was going on where all you're exposed basically, like all, just your chatter, like you go back and forth and you sending stuff over and you could be like, well, let's retract, blah, blah, blah. Bottom line is, we were tasked, me and my former business partner were tasked with bringing out like celebrities and press to, it was actually his last pop-up concert he did in LA at the Hollywood Palladium. And at that time, my business partner was very pregnant. She wasn't present. But she used to write all of our stuff. Like she was a writer. And he did, I mean, it was a bucket list show. It was insane. He did like 5 encores. He brought out Third Eye Girl and his Trump, I forget what they're called. My boy runs it. All the horns and stuff. He usually does one or the other. They were both present. Dougie Fresh hosted. He brought out Marsha Ambrosia. He brought out Janelle Monáe. It was crazy, right? So I'm used to, PR is just like, it's crazy, like rush, do that, da 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 da. You're dealing with the media, and they want this and they want that, and we need the approved images now because this needs to go live. Like there's so many little things that go on. So I remember that he didn't allow press in. Well, he allowed select press in, but they couldn't have their cameras out or do anything. So the post recap story my former partner wrote wasn't there though. But I had given her the whole rundown, and then the press was pressing us for an image, and basically, he was appalled that I didn't write it because I was there. And he was like, I'll release that photo when I get goddamn ready to. They can't press me for shit. You know what I mean? And I was like, those lessons were just super, they were invaluable or valuable. I don't know the word, but they were, I mean, it changed how I looked at a lot of things. And then it helped me to be even more authentic. And, with most of my clients, I write everything and I set the tone for it. I have to meet them. I have to get certain information. Like I am so into like making sure that, you know, the facts are in place, but also that the brand is being presented a certain way. And yeah, that was like a 100% standout moment.
Whew. I can just imagine the feeling and the emotion of just going through the day when the day was finally over at 5 o'clock in the morning.
That part.
You were just like, yes. Now I want to throw this, since we went rewarding, what's something people got fucked up about the PR business?
Ooh, so many things. People will, you know, they don't understand the process. So they think that two things. If you live in LA and you think that because you got your clients on some okay to whack red carpets that you're a publicist. Negative. That's not true. And then people think that shit is just supposed to, like, they can throw something at you and you can just make that happen on the spot. The crazy thing is, 8 times out of 10 I can, but that's not how it works. It's because of my relationships. But imagine you want your video, your music video premiered with Complex, and you send me everything 3 days before it drops. Excuse me? You think Complex was sitting around waiting for my email to upload your shit? Like, come on. Like, they don't understand the processes. Like, do you know how many people are going for that spot? And you're not going to get it. I mean, you may based on my relationship, but I'm not going to press my relationships every time because your shit wasn't organized and you didn't have everything. So people have it so fucked up that they can just take this stuff and throw it at you. You're supposed to just make magic. It's like, no, it is such a process. And you want to make sure that all your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed. You know, all your links are working properly. Your images all make sense. You know, what's your story? You know, do you have a campaign? Like, maybe we should time this. Like, the politics are going strong, so as this hits the wire, it's going to get buried. You know, so should we do it at this time? Like, there's so many things you got to weigh out to have a successful PR experience.
Now, as we just went into rewarding to most fucked up to why do you choose to do the job you do?
I love it. I just love it. Like, I wake up like excited. I get nervous when I get something big because I'm like, oh my God, I hope I can pull this off. But with that same nervousness, I'm like, I'm hell bent. I'm driven. I'm like, I'm gonna make this happen.
But you know what? That nervousness lights off a bomb inside, or a ticking time bomb that goes, hey, there's creativeness that makes me nervous. And that right there is the whole nucleus that we need to keep it going. Because if you
Exactly.
just always running confident and comfortable, everything's so simple, you're going to keep on putting out
It's
the same thing.
and it's boring after a while. You're just like, okay, been there, done that. How many times? Some people like that. I definitely like. That's why I have athlete clients, brands, music, event, like, because I like to be challenged in so many different areas. I like to switch it up and see, like, let me just see if I can get my client on the cover of GQ Sports. Like, that becomes a goal for me, and that's made me, you know, establish a certain amount of rapport and success in so many different areas because I set my own goal in addition to the client.
I know I call you the queen of PR, but you're really the plug. I'm talking about the plug. I ain't talking Peruvian plug, but I'm talking
Right.
about the plug that weighs more than the Peruvian plug. You understand me?
Absolutely. Yes,
From
I would
all of
agree.
your events that you have done, I know you said that the Prince event was a real rewarding moment. What has been your favorite event to have done that was fun for you and that you
Hmm.
didn't feel like you were stressed? It was just something that was, whoo, let's go. I want another one.
Mm. I will say a few Super Bowls ago, we partnered with the H Wood Group. Are you familiar with the H Wood Group? They own like Poppy and Delilah and Nice Guy and all those places, Peppermint Club. And we did a pop-up event in Minnesota. So we had to like create it from scratch, like find the venue, build it out or whatever. And we had an amazing like daytime event where we partnered with McDonald's, and we had like a roundtable discussion with like Jerome Bettis and like ESPN commentators and everything, and that went well. Then that evening, Jamie Foxx hosted our private dinner, and then Shaq DJ'd, Shaq Diesel, and then we had an after party where 21 Savage performed, and Good Morning America, that event was the only event that Good Morning America covered. And when they showed up, initially Fox was running a little bit behind, and then he wasn't with his manager I'd normally deal with. He was with more of his film kind of side, which I don't deal with that at all. I'm just like events and personal stuff. And he was like, well, Fox isn't interviewing. And I had been holding the media, and I was like, shit, yes he is. So I was trying to figure it out. So crazy thing is I had to like figure it out. Like the event was amazing. Like the our sponsors were great. We had amazing food and everything. So I was like, hey, talking to the press, made them feel at home. I made sure that they got amazing gift bags. I was like, hey, as a matter of fact, you guys have been standing here, equipment. I was like, everybody just take a quick break. Fox is on the way. I was like, go upstairs, grab a cocktail. And they were like, really? I was like, yes. So did all that, made them feel comfortable, came back down. They saw that Fox came in, and I'll never forget. I think the host was Tyler, the black guy. I think that's his name, Tyler. And he was like, I had to kind of tell them the situation. So he was like, you know what? If Fox sees me, he's gonna talk to me. And sure enough, like we were doing photos, and he just kind of slid out the host, and he just kind of got. So he got the whole interview, and they were just so happy and so pleased with how everything went, because it wasn't like chaotic. It was like they had a good time,
Yeah.
And at that time, like Gary Vee wasn't really doing like mainstream press, and so I kind of put Gary with Fox's team, and I had another guy in town, and so they made great connections, and it was amazing. But it could have been, because there were so many people involved too, and moving pieces from the production side and the sponsors and the activation and it was a lot, but I absolutely loved it. I loved every minute of it. It was so much fun. And then the Good Morning America piece was funny because I didn't realize that I was actually in the scene, and people were calling me like, I saw you on Good Morning America. And I was like, you did? But I was on the red carpet trying to like, coordinate things, and they caught that. So I would say that event was super fun. We had so much fun after the fact, when everything was done. And Fox was literally like giving the tequila shots to people in the crowd and throwing Big Macs at the crowd. Like he's so amazing to work with from a brand perspective, and a host. He is a dream. He's just so he really understands. Like he gets into it, and I think he enjoys it, It seems like he does.
Oh yeah, no, he's real and down to earth. And when
Oh
you
my God,
have
as
those,
they come.
I mean, when you have those elements, and then the person that's interviewing and receiving that, it can go really up. And it's that right there is something that, from my end, we all appreciate.
Absolutely.
You have survived my show. The floor is yours. You could promote, run up whatever you want to run up. Let them know where they can find you. Basically, the floor is yours.
Wow, so interesting, because I really don't do interviews or podcasts or anything like that. I ironically do not promote myself on social media. My social media sucks. It sucks. It would never represent an ounce of anything that I do. So I would say, if you want to get a hold of me, know somebody that knows me, because that's how everybody else does it. It's like when I don't, people are like, where's your website? I don't have them. I don't need, I'm not interested in having one. So sorry, I got a call. And so that's it. I don't really have much to promote, but I am excited that I do have some amazing up and coming talent. So one of my gems that I'm just ecstatic about, her name is Mariana Valletto, 2 L's, 2 T's. So go check her out on Instagram. She just dropped a new single, a new video actually today called Hold Him Down, which is super dope. And then she's dropping another single early next month that Jazzy Faye produced called For Me. The whole, everybody's like, it's the beard for me. So she's dropping that, and then she's working on an amazing project with 1500 or Nothing. So she is definitely, I'm just, I work with a lot of new artists, but I would definitely say she's like at the top of my list in terms of ones that's going to go. So Rihanna, watch out.
You hear me? You hear her? You know, you are absolutely right. When it comes to this game, especially the entertainment world, it's either you know or you don't know. If you don't know, you'll be walking right next to the biggest thing in the world and it'll pass you, and that's on you.
And it don't always have to come in flashing lights, and I don't do any of that. So a lot of times people see me in the room, with the exception of my height, because I'm 5'10". But it's, you just, right, when you know. Those that know be like, Erica, da, da, da. And those that don't know might be like, can you give me a drink over there? It's like,
So disrespectful. She is not a runner, damn it.
The crazy thing is, I would be like, if I'm going to the bar, that's the thing. I'm so chill. I might, like, that doesn't bother me to go do stuff like that. Like, oh, you need a drink? Okay, cool. Let's go. It doesn't matter. Like,
the humbleness is so real. Erica, if you notice my show, it's different. It's unique. They said that you got to do things this way. I'm like, all right, I'll listen, but I'm not going to do nothing like you guys. And I'm like, how do I keep that same energy and close out? The viewers knows it's coming. I'm going to hit you with it. You got any questions for me?
Not online. I have a couple questions. I'll text you. But no, I think this is amazing. I wouldn't have done it if I didn't think that when I first met you, I was like, I like that guy. And, it was crazy to get a hold of me and to kind of figure things out. But the fact that how we even met, and you were like, Slim was supposed to do something, I was like, let me make it happen. I didn't even know, but I was like, I committed to that, So, nope. So I appreciate you, and I wish you nothing but success. Keep doing what you're doing. I think as long as you don't stop, then it's gonna happen. You're gonna hit your peak,
Oh yeah, no, that's so real. That's something we all learn from Nipsey, is that you can have every emotion, you can go through every emotion, but the quality you don't want to have is to quit. And consistency with persistence will change your life, and it'll get you a lot further than where you were yesterday.
That's why Nipsey always said too, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
You hear me? Let the marathon continue.
That's just that West Side talk. They don't understand.
It's okay. They can look it up. They already know. It's Nick show. My outro is done by my guy Mars and Mike and Keys. Like, the intro is done by JP Bangs. That's Mozzie producer. He's a big West Coast producer.
Oh,
and
I
has Sequence on the intro. Sequence is a phenomenal singer. A lot of people don't know he did stuff for everybody back in the day, but until now, where everyone owns their masters and gets their name on stuff, back in the day, you got paid and you were okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
On that note, it's Contrast Uncut. It's season 4. This is my spotlight episode, my PR edition with the queen of PR. I'm talking about the plug, Erica Hill, E Hill Entertainment. Thank you so much for rocking with us, for dropping them gems. I know you don't have the flashy lights when you walking around, but when you let them words come out, them is shiny diamonds. They like 100 carats. You understand me? Keep on letting them fly when you feel like it, because sometimes it pays to play, and sometimes if you want to get in the game, you got to know who to ask and where to pay.
Exactly. Absolutely. Period. Thank you so much. Hey, this is Erica Hill. You're tuned in to Contrast Uncut. Shout out to Big Snoop Dogg and Bobby D.
You hear me?
Yeah, this really remind me of some, hey, this really reminds me of some Tribe Called Quest. Hip-hop really taught me to give it all I got left. Wu-Tang taught us how to beat the projects and tell my story over beats and it could be a project. Look, how it all begun, bum, skibbity bum, yeah. Grew up on that Nas, on that L, on that pun. Old soul when I was young, crisscross, make them jump. Battle rapping for respect, my nigga, this ain't what you want. Can I kick it when I'm rhyming? Be a legend through Ebonics, was a sticker boy. Felt like sticky fingers played at Onyx. Can I live track 8? Feel like Jigga 96, without a reasonable doubt the album turned me